Learning English to confess my feelings. Hi, my name is Sophia, and I'm 20 years old. I live in Brazil, and I've always loved learning new things. But there was one thing that made me nervous speaking English. It's not that I didn't like the language. In fact, I loved listening to English songs and watching movies in English. But I was always scared that I would mess up when speaking it. I was too shy. Everything changed when I met someone very special. His name is Jack. Jack is from England, and he moved to Brazil a few months ago. I met him at a party through a friend, and we started talking. He was really nice and funny, and we became friends. But after a while, I started to like him more than just a friend. The problem was that Jack didn't speak much Portuguese, and I couldn't speak much English. We had a lot of fun talking, but sometimes it was hard to understand each other. One day, I realized that if I wanted to tell Jack how I felt, I had to learn English better. I wanted to confess my feelings to him, but I needed to be able to say everything clearly. I knew that if I didn't do something, I might never be able to tell him how much I liked him. So, I decided that I was going to learn English. At first, I didn't know where to start. I felt nervous about making mistakes, but I reminded myself that learning a language is all about practice. I started by watching YouTube videos. There were so many videos that helped me learn. Some of them were about how to speak English clearly, while others taught me new words and phrases. I practiced listening to the videos every day, and soon I began to understand more and more words. Some videos taught me how to say hello, thank you, and how are you, in different ways, and I tried to remember them so I could use them when I saw Jack. But I knew that listening wasn't enough. I needed to speak English more, so I started watching English TV shows. At first, I couldn't understand everything, but I kept trying. One of my favorite shows was about a group of friends living in a big city. The characters spoke quickly, and sometimes I couldn't follow them, but I loved hearing the way they talked. Slowly, I began to understand the words they used, and I could tell when they were joking or being serious. I started to repeat the words they said, practicing my pronunciation. I even started to learn the names of places and things in English, like bus stop, grocery store, and park. Then, I decided to read English books. The first book I tried was a children's book. The words were simple, and the pictures helped me understand the story. As I read more and more, I learned new words, and my confidence started to grow. I would write down the words I didn't know and look them up later. It was a lot of work, but I was getting better every day. I started reading books in English about animals and nature, because I liked learning about the world around me. I loved the feeling of reading a story in English and understanding it without looking at the translation. I didn't want to stop there. I knew that to really improve, I had to use English in real life, so I started going to events with English speakers. There were a few meetups in my city where people came together to practice English. At first, I felt very nervous, but I knew I had to try. I met other people who wanted to learn English too. We helped each other, and we talked about many things. Sometimes, it was hard to find the right words, but everyone was kind, and they didn't mind when I made mistakes. We were all learning together. I started feeling more confident, and I began to realize that making mistakes was okay. Everyone there was working hard to improve their English, and I didn't have to be perfect. Even though I was getting better at English, I still needed some help. So, I signed up for English lessons. The teacher was very patient, and she helped me with grammar and pronunciation. I learned a lot about how sentences are put together in English. It was tough, but I worked hard. I practiced every day, writing sentences and speaking out loud. My teacher always told me, the more you practice, the easier it gets. I took that advice to heart and practiced whenever I could. I started to feel more comfortable with English. I could talk to people in English without feeling nervous. I could watch TV shows and understand most of what was happening. I could read books in English, and I even started writing my own short stories. But the thing that excited me the most was that I was finally able to talk to Jack more easily. One day, I decided that it was time. I had been practicing English for months, and I felt ready to tell Jack how I felt. I invited him to a small cafe near my house. I was so nervous, but I knew this was my chance. When he arrived, I smiled and said, "Hi Jack. How are you today?" "I'm good, Sophia. How about you?" he asked with a smile. "I'm good too," I replied, taking a deep breath. "There's something I want to tell you." Jack looked at me with a curious expression. "What is it?" "I've been learning English for a long time now," I said. "And there's something I really want to say in English. I like you a lot, Jack. I think you're really kind, and I like spending time with you. I feel happy when we talk." Jack's eyes lit up. "Sophia, that's so sweet. I like you too. I've been wanting to tell you that for a while, but I didn't know how." I felt so relieved. I had finally done it. I had learned English, worked hard, and confessed my feelings to Jack. We spent the rest of the day talking about all the things we liked to do and the places we wanted to visit. We even made plans to travel together one day, and I felt so happy knowing that Jack liked me too. From that day on, Jack and I spent more time together. He helped me with my English, and I helped him with his Portuguese. We laughed together, learned together, and shared so many special moments. Sometimes, we still practiced English together, but now it felt more natural. We could talk about anything, from movies to food, and even about our dreams for the future. Looking back, I am so proud of myself for learning English. It wasn't always easy, but I didn't give up. Learning a new language takes time and practice, but it's so worth it. I now know that I can do anything if I set my mind to it. And the best part? I got to tell the person I liked how I felt, and we both learned new things along the way. I'm still learning English, and every day I get a little better. But now, it's not just about learning a language. It's about connecting with the people around me and sharing my thoughts with them. And I know that no matter where life takes me, I'll always keep learning, growing, and never giving up.